I don't see color. I only see people. Hey family, it's Danielle. Today we are going to sit and chat about being color blind and the idea of not seeing color. So, as you're probably aware, unless you are living under a rock, and if you are, can you please share with me how I can move in with you under this rock? So unless you're living under a rock, you are probably aware of everything that is going on in the United States of America and all of the racial tension and everything, just everything that's going on. And so I wanted to sit and chat about this whole idea of not seeing color. So the other day I came across a video, and I will put a link to the video in the description box for you guys. But I came across a video, and I'm sure, okay, I'm not gonna say I'm sure because you just never know in today's age. I'm gonna guess that the dad in this video probably had all of the best intentions with the video. I'm gonna assume that, I'm gonna guess that. The basis of the video was this dad called his son into the room. He looked between maybe 8 or 9, maybe he was younger, but I'm gonna say he looked to be about 8 or 9. But he came into the room, and the dad had 4 pictures up of kids doing different activities, and in each picture it was kids of different races. So there was like a black and white child hugging and so forth and so on. And so he asked the son, he was like, in this picture, what do you see? And the son was like, oh, I see 2 kids hugging. And then he was like, what do you see in this picture? And he was like, I see 2 kids laughing. I see 2 kids playing. I see 2 kids doing whatever. And he was like, okay, what else do you see? And the little boy went through the photos again. And then the dad asked, well, does anything stand out to you in any of the photos? Is there anything that stands out that you noticed? And the little boy was like, well, that one has tall grass. And the dad was like, okay, thank you. And the little boy left. And so the premise of the video was that you teach racism and that kids don't know racism, or the kids don't care about the color of your skin, or, you know, that was the premise. And while I thought the video was cute, I kind of cringed as I watched it, because this notion of I don't see color, like this idea of seeing color is what makes you racist, is absolutely ludicrous. It is absolutely ludicrous. And I would love to know who coined this whole I don't see color. If I had to guess, it probably was a racist person who was trying to justify their racist behavior by saying, I don't see color. It's the same idea of, I have black friends. It's that same concept. And it's like, if you're not teaching your kids color or talking about color, because I personally don't think kids have to be taught to see color. But if you're not talking about color, then there lies the problem. There lies the problem. To me, this child who appeared to be 8 or 9 should have been able to recognize that there was kids of different races in this photo. My child, I have a 5-year-old child, and we were talking about his hair one day. And Phoenix, you guys all probably know Phoenix, and you know, we were asking him, do you love your hair? Do you want a haircut? Just talking about his hair. And he's like, I love my hair. And he was like, I love my skin. I love being black. And he's 5. And he was like, I love being black. And we're like, oh, you love being black? He was like, I'm gonna stay black forever, and I'm gonna have a black house. And we're like, okay. And he's like praising the fact that he likes being black. And he started noticing color probably last year. I want to say right at 4, he started noticing color. We were watching some home videos, and my brother, which you guys have all seen, my little big brother, was in the video, and Phoenix says, "Uncle is white." And I'm like, "Uncle's not white." And he's like, "Yes, he is. He's white. He's not black." And I'm like, "No, Phoenix, Uncle is black." And he's like, "He's white. He's white." And so from a 4-year-old's perspective, I could see how he would think that my brother is white. I mean, the skin complexion is different from his. And for him, it's like, oh, he's white, he's black, she's brown, whatever. And he wasn't saying that in a derogatory way or a negative way. It's like for him, he noticed, like there was a switch in his brain that noticed that Uncle is a different complexion from me. Like kids notice these things. And so for me as his mom, that provided an opportunity for us to talk about color and for us to talk about how there's all different colors of people and all different shades. And that's what makes us different. And that's what makes us special. And that's what makes us unique. But in the end, we're all the same and we all bleed red. And so we talk about color. And so now he's now 5. He recognizes color. My 9-year-old, I asked him a question, what makes him different? And he said, "I have dark skin." And he was saying that in a way of being proud that he has dark skin, and that is what makes him different. Like he does not see that as a hindrance right now. The world teaches him that that's a hindrance. He sees that as beauty. So for someone to look at me or look at any other person and say, "I don't see color." So what do you see when you're looking at me? What do you see? Like you see that I'm a woman, right? You see that my hair is a certain color. You see that my eyes are a certain color. You see that this shirt is you see everything else except for the one thing that makes me special and unique and different and that God constructed. You see everything but that very important detail. And because of that, that is supposed to say to me that you're not racist? Can somebody make that make sense to me? This notion of teaching your kids not to see color just to me provides the opportunity to breed racism, because here's how I see it. If you're unable to see color, theoretically, which I think is virtually absolutely impossible. If you're unable to see color and you're my white friend and we are at a store or we're somewhere and the cashier or somebody does something to me that is clearly racist, and I say to you, "Did you see that?" And you're like, "What? I didn't see anything." And I'm like, "Oh, I gave them," with the current events, I gave them that $20 bill. They checked my $20 bill, but you gave them a $50 bill and they didn't check it. And I'm like, that was because I was black. And because you claim you don't see color, or you were never raised to discuss color or anything like that, you're going to downplay that. You're going to say, "No, it couldn't have been because you were black. Maybe it was this, or maybe it was that, or maybe because you're incapable of knowing that because my skin color is black and yours isn't, I'm treated differently from you." Like that, it takes away from people being able to recognize that there are things that are done injusticely to people of color if you're saying you don't see color. So I'm watching this video and I'm thinking to myself, this little boy is old enough. He's old enough. More than likely, he recognizes color because kids do. They just pick up on it naturally. It's not something we teach. That part is true. They just pick up on it. How we react to it when they pick up on it is what becomes taught. And so I'm thinking he clearly probably sees color, but I'm wondering if discussing color in his household is taboo. So he's not going to say it because he knows that it makes his parents uncomfortable, or he knows that it's a topic that they don't discuss. You know, you don't talk about people being black or white, or you don't say that because that's rude or that's racist or whatever. As to call me black is racist. It's not. It's not. Calling me black is not racist, people. For anybody that was wondering, let me just set that for the record. Because I'm black, I'm brown. I mean, technically I'm brown, but I'm black, but whatever. Calling me that does not make you a racist. Discussing my color does not make you racist. Discussing the texture of my hair does not make you racist. When you are discussing it in a way of understanding, in a way of acknowledging the differences and the beauty of what I have been giving, that doesn't make you racist. Now, if you are using these things to elevate yourself or to dehumanize me or whatever, then that's when it becomes racist. So, and not talking about it is just like, okay, so I don't exist. Like, I don't understand. So I don't exist. So in the wake of all of this, I think we have to get to a point where we are moving away from this idea of I'm colorblind and we're all one human race and we don't see color and all of these things that are slick racist to say. So we have to start moving away from that, and we have to start having conversations with our kids discussing race and discussing color and discussing what makes us all different, but that makes us all beautiful. And this is why we don't treat people differently, because of these things. This is what we need to be discussing, so that as kids get older, they may notice, oh, that's a black girl. But because it's talked about, it's not taboo. It's like, it's not Bigfoot. You know, when you see a black person, it's not Bigfoot. You know, I remember when I was in high school and I was working at 579, and a little kid walked up and I'm like checking him out. And he's like, look, Mom, she's black. And the mom just like turned completely red and was like, oh my God. She was like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, yes, I am black. And, the mom was like apologizing, but I'm like, there's nothing to apologize about unless you were having a conversation with your child about black people that was inappropriate, that was dehumanizing me, and now your child is like, well, she's black, and you're embarrassed because you know why he's saying that. But if he's just simply saying, oh, she's black and I'm white, then it's like, that's right, honey, she is black and you are white, and you guys are both beautiful, and you have beautiful skin and beautiful personalities, and God made everybody different, and however you want to discuss it. It no longer becomes a taboo topic. It's like, now that we've established, because my little phoenix refuses to accept that his uncle is black, no matter how many times we discuss it, no matter how many times I explain to him that he is a different shade of black. His little 5-year-old has a Crayola concept when it comes to color. So for him, it is black and white. Uncle's white. He just is. But now that he's accepted that, and he's recognized that, we've moved on with life. Like that, it isn't this taboo topic, or it isn't something that's like there's something wrong with uncle, or what's wrong with me, or anything like that. It's just, okay, uncle's white, I'm black, and everything is great, and we just move on with life or whatever. And any other questions that may come up for him around race, as he learns more, we will discuss and explain. To me, this is no different from when a child sees someone with a handicap and they have questions. It's us adults that feel uncomfortable. It's us adults that don't want to talk about it because it stirs something up in us. It's not the kids. So we're quick to say, don't stare, don't stare. That it's impolite to stare, versus to teach the child and make that a teachable moment about the person. And because we're uncomfortable with it, because we've probably been taught from generations of people who were uncomfortable, then we pass that same level of uncomfort to our children. And so it's the same exact thing with race. When you're uncomfortable discussing race, or when you're uncomfortable discussing color, or when you're uncomfortable discussing differences between people, then you just say to your child, we don't say that. That's not nice. Don't say that. Rather than teaching and diving into that topic, because it makes you uncomfortable, which then passes on to your children, which then they think is uncomfortable, and they can go one or two ways when they become adults, because you never talked about color. When they are in a position of learning about color from a racist standpoint, they can believe that as truth because you never talked about color. Or they can go the opposite direction and be activists or stand up for what's right. Or they can fall in the middle and not know which way to go because you never talked about color. Not talking about color is not beneficial anyway. It's not beneficial in any form factor. So to me, with that video, what I would have liked to see is, if the child did not bring up color, that the dad would have taken a moment to say, do you notice that one child is black and one child is white? And I'm sure the son would have said, yes, I noticed that. And the dad to say, notice how they're both hugging, or notice how they're playing together, or notice how they're both laughing, and use that as an example of how two people of different colors can still laugh together and love each other and hug. Or, and once we discuss that, maybe point out some ways that they are the same. Even though she has black skin and she has white skin, they're both girls. Or notice how they both hold their hands this way. Or notice how they both smile. Or notice how this or that, or whatever. So while we're different, we all have relatively the same insides, the same makeup, sometimes the same experiences, sometimes not. But just talking about those things would have provided a teachable moment, especially with what's going on in 2020. Because then you could have said, that conversation could have led into, well, right now there's some really not nice people, and there's some really not nice things happening to people who look different from you, who have darker skin, who have black skin. And those people are being treated this way, and people who look like you are being treated this way. And 9 times out of 10, you guys, a child is going to say, but why? That's not nice. And then you're going to back that up with, exactly, honey, that's not nice. And we can go into why that's not nice and how they can do something different. That's how you teach non-racism, anti-racism. That's how you teach that, not by ignoring the very obvious. Like, ignoring the very obvious does not make the problem go away. Ignoring the color of my skin does not make me disappear or make my issues disappear, or the things that I have to deal with or my struggles disappear. That's not what that does. It just simply ignores the very essence of who I am. Being Black is my essence. That is who I am. That is the one of the number one things about me. I am a Black female, mother, wife, daughter, sister. But at the top of that line, I'm Black. I'm Black. And it's unfortunate, it's fortunate but unfortunate that that is the pure essence of me, because that is how I came. That is how my ancestors came to this country. We came different. We came oppressed. We came, and it was about our skin color and nothing else. They did not go to China or to other parts of Europe or to Switzerland or whatever and take white people. They took Black people. And so that very core history of myself is what makes my Blackness important. It's what makes the essence of who I am important. And so for you to disregard that, it's just counterproductive to what you're trying to be. You're trying to be anti-racist, but saying you don't see my color is counterproductive to that. So, my hope is that at some point we'll get to a place where we are acknowledging people's differences in a positive way, acknowledging the things that make us unique in a positive way, and we're not trying to wipe it away and all be the same and all look the same and not all be different. Like that we praise the very things that make us different. I mean, if being Black was not important, or my skin color not important, why was there a push for Black emojis? I mean, shouldn't we just have stuck with yellow if we were going to say we didn't see color? But we do. And so it was important that we had representation of our color. But you guys, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But I do want to say, for those of you who may be watching who are struggling with the idea of seeing color, or struggling with talking to your kids about race and color, I would strongly, strongly encourage you to have those hard conversations. I would strongly encourage you to open your eyes and see color. Open your eyes and see the Black people that are in front of you. Open your eyes and see the Black people that are being harassed, murdered, imprisoned, unjustly, passed up on jobs, who are being treated unfairly. Open your eyes and see that. See that very color and that very essence of that person. That is what I would encourage you to do. And I would encourage you to talk to your kids about color and the differences and the rainbow of people and the beauty that that is. Even in the Bible, they described Jesus' color. They didn't just leave that part out. They described it. So color mattered in that sense. So I would encourage you to dig deep on what is inside of you that makes you afraid to discuss color, and figure that out so that you feel comfortable enough to talk to your kids, rather than passing this generational curse on to the next generation. And for my Black people, I would encourage you to be Black and proud, unapologetically Black, to talk about your Black skin, or if you don't like the notion of being Black, because we're technically not, this is Black, I'm brown, then talk about being brown skin. Talk about, being light skin, or talk about being dark skin, and not talking about it in a negative way, but in a positive way of what makes me different and unique and special. And not special, I'm more special than you are, but we're both special. And here's why: we're equally special because of our differences. I would encourage you to broach the conversation of colorism and color blindness with your white friends, and to discuss it. This needs to be discussed. It needs to be talked about. It doesn't need to be a taboo topic anymore. Being taboo is what exactly is part of the problem in 2020 today. So there's my challenge to you guys. There's my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think about the whole idea of being colorblind and not seeing color. I would love to hear your thoughts about this topic. And I hope you guys are staying sane and staying safe and getting some mental health rest during all of this time, taking care of yourself and all of that good stuff, you guys. If you're new here, hi, welcome. Thank you for staying and hanging out with us. We would love for you to join our family and hit the subscribe button. To the rest of my family, I love you guys. You guys are the MVPs. The MVPs. And I love you guys. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.